This is the late evening of Friday, the 16th day of January 2026. This video is very important. I would like you to watch it to the end. This is an honest analysis about what Christopher Musa, the Honorable Minister of Defense, said yesterday on Arise News. This is very important because it's going to enable you to understand what actually is the problem in Nigeria. Now, quickly, why Christopher Musa was on Arise News saying that the insecurity situation in Nigeria, that if Nigerians want it to end, that it will end. That so many people are sponsoring this insecurity. This is a statement that the government have been saying since 20 years ago. People are sponsoring. Who are the people? Are you not people in the government who are supposed to bring out people who are sponsoring insecurity? I am surprised that in 2026, Christopher Musa is still saying the people who are sponsoring insecurity are the reason why insecurity has not ended. So what are they doing? But that is not the major problem. Why he was making that statement yesterday, Sokoto people continue to live for terrorists. Why terrorists are trooping into the country massively.
No. Waiting bandit they do also. See waiting bandit they do. See how villagers they pack their properties, they run. Oh, bandits. Federal government know they help us. Army people know they help us. See innocent people. See innocent people. Oh, Nigeria. Nigeria is finished. Guys, Nigeria is...
Now, what caught my attention among the things that the Honorable Minister of Defense said yesterday was, number one, he said one of his friends came from Brazil to see him yesterday before he went to the studio of Arise News, that when his friend came to Abuja, he said, wow, Nigeria is so peaceful. It's not the way people are saying that Nigeria, that people are dying, people are in the ITP camp. Musa is now saying, you see, people think that Nigeria is at war, that Nigeria is peaceful. Like I said, oh my goodness, like these people's shame is just shaming me. You mean people landed in Murtala Mohammed Airport, right? No, Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport, Abuja, and they just went to your office, and that confirms that Nigeria is peaceful. Whereas 4.2 million plus people are in the IDP camp nationwide. That was number one thing that caught my attention. Secondly, he said that they are receiving intelligence and calls about insecurity. That their problem now is if they receive call about insecurity or intelligence, they can't go there because either road is not good or this. I mean, Nigeria have helicopter to fly to Benin Republic. They have fighter jet to fly to Benin Republic to save another country. But their people, transportation is a problem. That is the number two thing I spotted from what Christopher Musa said. Stay with me. You are going to watch him saying those things. Now, number three thing he said is what I said at the beginning, that the people who are sponsoring this insecurity are the problem. That if Nigerians want it to stop, it will stop. Okay, if you not be honorable minister, if president will appoint you, not be honorable minister or president, then you people should get out of there. Do they force you to enter the seat? And lastly, among the things I spotted from this interview about to watch, Christopher Musa said that Nigerians should know that the armed forces don't have capacity to stop these terrorists, that Nigerians must do it. Like, what is it? See, I have been warning you people about all these things. So now, this is the index of everything. At the end, Musa said that the issue of insecurity in Nigeria is because people were treated bad because of lack of infrastructure. I say, hold it there. This means that these people don't still know the problem of Nigeria. They are still pretending in 2026. And after saying that, he went forward to start contradicting himself. He said, this is a global problem. Burkina Faso is facing the same thing. Benin Republic have started facing the same thing. Mozambique is facing the same thing. I say, okay. Ibrahim Traore's cabinet, the military leadership, has confirmed that the militias in Burkina Faso won Islamic State. So, if Musa said that the problem Burkina Faso is having the same thing Nigeria is having another West African country, that is Islamization. Because other countries, Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, confirm that this is Islamization. But these people are here beating around the bush. I don't tire for these people. I beg, take and listen to what this man said yesterday.
What we say is why these guys are thriving is because we have some certain individuals that still support them, trying to trade with them. I can tell you, how do they maintain themselves having fuel? How do they get food in the bushes? There are people that take these things to them, that give them information about troops movement, that provide this logistics and information to them. If Nigerians decide today, communities that have decided not to support them are free. So that's why it's important for Nigerians to understand that the security men cannot be everywhere. So everybody has a responsibility to offer support to the armed forces. Once you see something going wrong, report as quickly as possible.
But that sounds like there is a gap somewhere, that intelligence isn't working. Because if you, as you're saying, that obviously people supply them with things, they get their, provisions from somewhere, and yet you don't seem to be able to get on top of that.
No, like I said, we cannot be everywhere. And then sometimes once these informations come, because of the nature of the terrain, like I told you the other time, we have situations where you have, because of IEDs, if you have information for you to move, 10 kilometers will take you more than 5 hours. Because if you make a mistake and you step on an IED, everybody is dead. So these are the challenges we're having. And that's why we say we should look at what are these things that got us to where we are today. Things about justice, fairness, equity, infrastructure development, which is being done now. I think we need to do more. And when we have that, it will also assist. And it will also be able to look at how do they get their recruitment. Because when there's poverty, illiteracy, the government is doing so much into doing that. But we need Nigerians to come together to say no to what's going on. And I think that will help us a lot.
And I remember you've made this point before, but it sounds like your assessment is that Nigeria's security challenge is not so much primarily a military problem. It's also become a governance, intelligence, and social crisis that guns alone cannot solve.
That's what I'm saying, because of the isomery of the kinetic and the non-kinetic. The kinetic aspect cannot solve all the problems. It will only provide an enabling environment for all other aspects to take place. And I think that's very critical. We mentioned the issue of our borders. Efforts are being made to, and that's why we are going to extend more with our relationship with Niger, Chad, Cameroon, Benin Republic now, because they are equally beginning to face a similar issue. I think on a general term is for us to understand that what is going on now is a world challenge. It's a challenge that's challenging the entire world. And just like the way ISIS started and the entire world came together to defeat ISIS, look at what's happening in Mozambique. Look at Burkina Faso, look at Mali, look at Nigeria and other countries. So it's something that we all must come together to work against what's going on.
Now, US President Donald Trump threatened to go into Nigeria, guns are blazing. That's become a bit of a cliche now. How seriously does Nigeria's defense establishment take such statements, keeping in mind that in the past, Mr. Trump has seemed to step back from actions and then taken those actions?
Yeah, well, I think the rhetoric was overblown. There's nothing happening like guns are blazing. Nigeria is a sovereign country. Whatever we did, whatever happened or whatever is going to happen, we have that collaboration working together jointly. I can tell Nigerians clearly that whatever it is that an American is doing in Nigeria or is going to do in Nigeria will have to be together, discussed, planned, executed together. No country will just fly into Nigeria and do whatever it feels like doing. No, it won't happen that way.
Right, but does that kind of rhetoric risk undermining Nigeria's sovereignty, or does it reflect a failure of Nigeria to control the narrative around its security crisis? Because, for example, you're a Christian, you're from the north, you're surrounded by Muslims to a large extent in the north, and a lot of Christians from the north have come out to say that they feel that they're under siege. Can you relate to what they're saying?
What I need to say is that Nigerians are being killed. Christians, Muslims, non-Christians, non-Muslims have been killed. The truth about it is that we have certain individuals that target certain individuals. We have the ISWAP, the Boko Haram. It's not a federal government policy to go after Christians. And that's one thing that we want to make very clear, because most times the international community has this intention to feel that as if Nigerians, the Nigerian government is planning to eliminate Christians. No, it's not the government. But we have certain criminal elements that want to take advantage, and they have their order of priority.
But can you understand, sorry to interrupt you, that if a Christian minority community is living in a place where they're entirely surrounded by a Muslim majority, the state in which they live is a Sharia state, I mean, can you understand the fact that those people might feel a tremendous sense of oppression
No,
in that place, and oppression that may well lead to fears and concerns about attempts to eliminate.
Fear is natural. Fear is human nature, and there could be perception. I was born and raised in Sokoto. I grew up in Sokoto. I spent my entire formative years in Sokoto. I went to my primary school in Sokoto. My secondary school, it was going to Nigerian Defense Academy that I left Sokoto. Naturally, people will have felt, but I had one of the best upbringings in life because Sokoto was wonderful. I'm still very proud of growing up in Sokoto. Some other communities, and it's not only for the Christians. The same thing with the Muslims too. Wherever they are, and there's probably a large population of Christians, they probably might also feel that sense of fear. Fear is natural. If you give birth to a kid today and you put him in the dark, he gets scared. Fear is natural, and perceptions are there. We know that there are issues in Nigeria about religion, how we view religion, and I really don't understand why we take it so much. Sometimes I think we're taking it to the extreme, both religions. But I think we're getting it better. We're getting to understand each other. And we need to also make the international community understand that Nigerians are being killed, and it's important for the killings to be stopped. And that's the effort the federal government is doing. And anybody coming to support us, that is what we tell them. Nigerians are being killed. We want Nigerians to stop being killed.
And let's be clear that both Christians and Muslims are being killed.
We're all victims.
Now, I'm sure you know that Nigeria is now lobbying aggressively in Washington over security and these religious violence narratives.
Yeah.
From a defense standpoint, is this about protecting this country's national image or preventing foreign intervention?
No, I think it's to protect. Now everything is about the media. I mean, the media is very powerful. And perception, like I said, is always very dangerous. Internationally, there's this growing belief, because we have certain individuals that have consistently gone to Congress to say that Nigeria is a failed state, Nigeria is failing, we need help from outside. And not knowing that the more they do that, the more they put the country in bad light. And that's why when you carry your green passport and you go, individuals look at you and view and say, look at this guy coming from Nigeria. When, this issue, I can tell you for free, just before entering the studio, I have a friend who just came in from Brazil. Before coming, the impression they gave him was, if he comes to Nigeria, they are shooting everywhere, you can't move. And he came in and he couldn't believe what he saw. Remember last year we also hosted the African Military Games. We had about 22 African countries that participated. Again, late last year we had the Chief of Defense Staff Summit. Over 25 Chiefs of Defense Staff from African countries came. And all of them, when they came, they said, look, in the press what they saw is that Nigeria is dangerous and it's not a place to go. But they came here and they moved freely. So that is the perception. I think that's what the federal government is trying to work for, people to understand that Nigeria is not bad. Nigeria is a very peaceful place. Yes, we have our issues, and everybody does the same thing. There is no country in the world that is peaceful. You heard about the Modi attack in Australia. Australia is presumed to be very peaceful. But some individuals took up arms and killed a number of people.
Yeah, but that's a very rare occurrence.
But it happens, and people are killed.
The problem in this country is that you might say to a foreigner, oh yeah, you can move around inside Abuja metropolis.
Yes. No.
But what if they ventured out of town? What if they wanted to drive off to somewhere? They wouldn't be safe.
I spoke to a number of people. They drove from here to Sokoto, drove from here to Zaria, to Funtua, to Jos. Nothing.
Foreigners?
Yes.
But they had enormous security.
Escort. No, not at all.
Well, I'd be astonished.
Yes.
And I wouldn't advise anybody to do that.
No, well, again, that's part of the perception we're talking about.
Well, let me move on from there, because you recently warned individuals, you say support or sympathize with terrorists, referring to figures like Sheikh Gumi. What exactly constitutes support in your view?
Support, if you encourage them one way or the other, by support, telling them that what they are doing is right and that the government is wrong and that they are victims, that's why they react. No, a criminal is a criminal, and anybody who supports a criminal to us is a criminal. We must all come together to understand that criminality must be addressed. And I think that is very critical. So in one way or the other, is either you are giving them funds or you are providing logistics to them or you are giving them information. If through media you are trying to encourage them, which means you are also part of them. And I think that's very critical. And that's why I want to appeal to our leaders, especially the opinion leaders, religious leaders, traditional rulers, politicians in leadership. We should be careful what we say. It's important. Yes, there's freedom, but your freedom shouldn't infringe on other. Because the comments you make whether rightly or wrongly, could also affect the killing or something, harmful effects on some communities. And that's why it's very, very for us to be very careful.
Do you think Nigerians, such as Sheikh Gumi, who negotiate with or publicly rationalize bandits and terrorists, should face legal consequences?
Well, I don't know. I think I will leave that to the legal, but all we're saying is that...
Yeah, but you're talking about finding ways to fight what is clearly a big problem in this country.
Yes,
you're the Minister
I think
of Defense.
for my mind is...
What would you advise?
For me is to advise such individuals to know the status they hold in the country, and that there are people that listen to them hook, line, and sinker. So whatever it is they say has effect on others.
So it's up to those individuals. You don't think action should be taken against them?
No, actually, I'm sure actions will be taken once they cross the red line. Actions will be taken. I mean, remember Samuel Ekpa? It was here we spoke about Samuel Ekpa and the need to get him. And immediately he was getting, what happened? The Southeast, Christmas in the Southeast was a lot better than ever before. So these are the issues that we need to do. So individuals must be careful. Nobody is above the government. Nobody. And nobody's above the law. So once you cross the red line, I know those in charge will take necessary action.
And talking about that red line, where should Nigeria draw the line between freedom of speech, mediation efforts, and actions that embolden violent groups?
I mean, those things are, you can easily decipher those things quite easily. If you say things that encourage others to take up arms, others to continue to be emboldened into their actions, into kidnapping, into killing, because you think you are encouraging them one way or the other, I think you've crossed the line. And I'm sure the DSS, the police are taking necessary action. They are watching, and I'm sure once that red line is crossed, necessary action will be taken.
Now, you've been Minister of Defense for just a few months now, and prior to that, you were Chief of Defense Staff. What's the difference between the two?
Well, the first time, like you said, I'm in Mufti. I'm appearing here in Mufti, which is a new challenge to me. I've been in 35 years wearing uniform, and so now every morning I have to think, what dress am I going to wear? I mean, before it wasn't like that. But I think it's a higher calling, it's a higher responsibility. Now, again, we have to deal a lot with politics, and so which is very, very critical in what we're doing. For the armed forces, we already know what the challenges are, we know what to do and all these things, and I'm happy with the service chiefs, the CDS and the service chiefs, so we're working hand in hand, including all the security agencies. We're going to reach out to everyone that's a stakeholder in Nigeria to know that you have a role to play and that we need you to be on the table so that we can have peace.